You got it.
Here's more from Border Czar Tom Homan. Yes, slamming House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries and New York City's Mayor Zohran Mamdani. Listen again.
I appreciate the comments from Mamdani and Jeffries, but it's too little too late. They spent a year attacking ICE, comparing ICE. So let's abolish ICE because they're fascists. ICE are Nazis. ICE are racist. ICE is a secret police. ICE isn't a real law enforcement agency. Fail to comply with ICE. I see the signs every protest resist. So look, they have educated people that they can resist ICE, and the hateful rhetoric continues.
New York Congressman Mike Lawler joining me this morning. Congressman, do you blame, flat out, you blame anti-ICE rhetoric for that attack in New York?
100%. Look, this is the continuation of the anti-police, defund the police movement that Democrats sparked back in 2020. And this is just the latest iteration of it, continually seeking to undermine law enforcement and the rule of law. The fact is, this gentleman should be fully prosecuted. But the anti-ICE rhetoric that we have seen over the last year, this is a direct result of that. And the fact is, these protests have increased. The interference with law enforcement has increased. And the assaults on law enforcement has increased. It needs to stop. Sanctuary jurisdictions have no place in America. If we are to believe in the rule of law and uphold the rule of law, and we want law enforcement to abide by the rule of law, then everybody should be abiding by the rule of law. And fundamentally, my Democratic colleagues, starting with Hakeem Jeffries and going to Zohran Mamdani, they fundamentally do not believe in the rule of law. They want to abolish ICE. They want to defund the police. They want this lawlessness and chaos to continue, and it must stop. Just putting out a statement condemning what happened yesterday is not enough when you are pouring gasoline on the fire every day.
Speaking of Mamdani, President Trump insists Netanyahu, Prime Minister of Israel, will not be arrested in any way, shape, or form. However, Mamdani is doubling down on a possible arrest. Watch this.
He's the architect of the genocide against Palestinians in Gaza as Israel's prime minister. These are not facts of my personal assessment. They are facts of public record. And I believe that when someone is charged with an international criminal court warrant, it's something that should be taken seriously, whether it's Benjamin Netanyahu or it's Vladimir Putin or whomever else.
Mamdani knows he can't arrest Netanyahu. He doesn't have the authority, so why is he saying this?
Because he's placating this far-left, radical, anti-Semitic base of the Democratic Party that is propelling all of these socialists into office. And, you know, Stuart, think about this. He wants to abide by the ICC, something the United States is not party to, but he doesn't want to enforce our laws here in the United States. He doesn't want to uphold federal immigration laws. He doesn't believe that the city and state of New York should be turning over criminal aliens to the federal government, but he has the chutzpah to say that he wants to arrest the Prime Minister of Israel based on the ICC, something the United States is not party to. This is the absurdity of the Democratic Party today. Yeah. The fact is, it is not going to happen. I dare him to try it, and let's see the end result.
That'd be a good news story to cover, I suggest. Congressman Mike Lawler, thanks for joining us.